Hey there, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Let me ask you something personal. The way you lie down to sleep tonight, on your side, on your back, or on your stomach, could be making your heart work way too hard, like closer to a heart attack than you might think. Before you answer, just sit with that for a second. What if I told you that the position that feels the most comfortable to you tonight is actually forcing your heart to work overtime, stopping your brain from taking out its trash, and quietly stealing up to 4 years of your life? Would you still sleep that way? A lot of people think sleep is simple. You close your eyes, turn off the lights, and wake up. Done. That couldn't be further from the truth. Sleep is your body's only chance to do its annual maintenance, but it happens every single night. This is when your brain cleans house, your heart gets to rest. Your hormones rebalance, your whole body goes into repair mode. But if your sleep position is off, that's like pulling your car into a repair shop, and instead of changing the oil, the mechanic takes a sledgehammer to the engine. Is that car going to run well? Absolutely not. And your body is no different. Look, I've been practicing family medicine for over 10 years, and I've seen how much confusion there is around this. So today, let's walk through the latest science together. We'll talk about which sleep position is best and which one can be dangerous, why even a tiny bit of light in your bedroom, like from a phone charger, might raise your heart attack risk by a significant amount, why sleeping too much may actually be riskier than not sleeping enough, and one small science-backed change that could lower your risk of heart attack and stroke by more than half. Please stick with me until the end, and if this helps you, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and share this video with your family group chat. Because when it comes to health, everyone you love deserves to know this stuff. Later, drop me a comment and tell me, how do you usually sleep? How many hours do you get? And when you wake up in the morning, do you feel wide awake, or do you have to chug a giant mug of tea just to make it to 10 a.m.? Let's talk. All right, let's get to work. There's a neurologist at Johns Hopkins University, a leading sleep researcher who I really respect, and he made a comparison that has always stuck with me. He said, choosing a sleep position is like picking a bed in the Goldilocks fairy tale. This bed is too hard. This bed is too soft. This one is just right. But here's what most people don't know. That choice directly affects how your brain cleans itself. Inside your skull, you have a special drainage system. In medicine, we call it the glymphatic system. Think of it as your brain's personal washing machine. Every day while you think, work, talk, and live, your brain cells are running at full speed. And just like burning coal leaves behind ash, your brain creates metabolic waste. If that waste piles up, your memory gets worse, your reactions slow down, and your risk of dementia goes up. So how does your brain take out the trash while you sleep? When you drop into deep sleep, something almost magical happens. Your brain cells actually shrink by up to 40% of their normal size. Imagine squeezing a sponge that opens up the space between the cells, and your cerebrospinal fluid flows in, washing away all the toxins, waste proteins, and metabolic junk from the day. It's like an automatic car wash, but for your brain. But here's the critical part. How well that cleaning system works depends heavily on your sleep position. Scientists used MRIs to track hundreds of volunteers, and they found something remarkable: side sleeping, whether on your left or your right, makes that detox system work at its highest efficiency. Why? Gravity, combined with your natural spinal alignment, helps the fluid flow out of your brain more easily. When you sleep on your side, your brain's drain pipe is open, but if you sleep on your back or your stomach, it's like putting a kink in a garden hose. The flow slows down, the garbage doesn't get flushed out. And over time, your brain is basically sitting in its own waste. I have seen so many patients in their mid-50s and early 60s whose MRIs showed brain shrinkage that looked more like someone in their 70s. And when I asked about their sleep habits, 8 out of 10 were chronic back sleepers. Many of them also snored. And speaking of snoring, that's not a small thing. If you or someone in your family snores, what I'm about to say might really surprise you. Sleeping flat on your back, face toward the ceiling, is public enemy number one for people who snore. You might think snoring just means you're sleeping deeply. Maybe it's annoying to the person next to you, but that's it. Unfortunately, it's much more serious than that. Research shows that about 30% of middle-aged men and about 10% of middle-aged women have sleep apnea, and most of them have no idea what is sleep apnea. Here's what happens. You fall asleep and your airway gets blocked over and over. You stop breathing for 10, 20 seconds or more. You struggle, you choke, you partially wake up gasping for air, then you fall back asleep, and the whole cycle repeats dozens of times a night, sometimes hundreds. When you lie flat on your back, gravity pulls your tongue, your soft palate, and the soft tissues in your throat backward, collapsing your airway. Your body panics, oxygen can't get in, your blood oxygen level plummets, and your carbon dioxide level spikes. Your brain screams, "We're suffocating, wake up." Your heart starts racing, your body dumps out stress hormones, your blood pressure shoots up, and your heart rhythm gets thrown off. It's a tiny cardiovascular storm happening over and over every single night while you have absolutely no memory of it. I had a patient, a retired teacher, 58 years old. He came to see me because he was exhausted all day long. He told me he would fall asleep at red lights. His blood pressure was out of control even though he was taking 3 different medications. So I ordered a sleep study. The results were frightening. He stopped breathing 120 times in a single night. The longest episode lasted 47 seconds. His blood oxygen dropped to 72%. Normal is above 95. His heart had been through 120 mini emergencies every night. I asked him to try side sleeping and use a CPAP machine. 3 months later, his blood pressure was stable. He had his energy back. He looked at me in my office and said, "Doc, I finally know what it feels like to actually sleep." Now you might be thinking, well, I don't snore, so I'm fine. Not so fast. Some people have very mild symptoms and don't snore, but the damage is still happening. Here's a simple way to check. If you wake up with headaches, a dry mouth, if you feel tired during the day, if your memory is getting worse, or if your blood pressure is hard to control, especially if it stays high at night, please take that seriously. Talk to your doctor about a sleep study. It doesn't cost much, and it can literally save your life. The really scary part about long-term sleep apnea is that it can cause a completely silent heart attack. Your heart goes through hundreds of oxygen episodes night after night. Heart muscle cells die little by little, and you never feel a thing. Then one day you get crushing chest pain, you're rushed to the hospital, and they find a massive heart attack. By then, it's too late to undo the damage. So does that mean everyone should sleep on their side? Not always. There are some special situations where the choice between left and right can make a huge difference. In medicine, the details can mean the difference between life and death. First, people with heart failure, if your heart function isn't good, or if you've had a heart attack in the past, your heart is already weak. Then you need to be careful with left side sleeping. Why? Because your heart sits slightly on the left side of your chest. When you lie on your left, the weight of your heart can press against your left lung, making it harder to breathe. At the same time, your heart valves have to work harder. Many of my heart failure patients tell me that when they lie on their left side, they feel short of breath and uncomfortable, and they have to roll onto their right side to feel better. That's not in their heads, that's their body sending a warning. If you have heart failure, I recommend sleeping on your right side or propped up on pillows so your upper body is at a 30 to 40 degree angle. That takes the pressure off your heart. Second, people with acid reflux or GERD, for this group, it's the opposite. Left side sleeping is the gold standard. Your stomach is on the left side of your belly, and your esophagus connects to it from the right. When you sleep on your left side, your stomach is lower than the opening of your esophagus. Gravity helps keep stomach acid where it belongs, in your stomach. But if you sleep on your right side, your stomach sits higher than your esophagus. Acid can flow back up like a gate opening, burning your esophagus and waking you up in the middle of the night with chest pain that feels like a heart attack. Third, pregnant moms, especially in the second and third trimesters. For you, left side sleeping is the safest option. We have a large vein in our body called the inferior vena cava. It runs along the right side of your spine, and it carries blood from your lower body back to your heart. As your baby grows, if you lie flat on your back, your uterus can press down on that vein and reduce the amount of blood returning to your heart. That can make you feel dizzy, lightheaded, and nauseous. And more importantly, it can reduce the oxygen and nutrients reaching your baby. Left side sleeping takes that pressure off. It keeps blood flowing smoothly for both of you. Now, you don't have to stay in one position all night. If you get tired, you can switch to your right side. But try not to lie flat on your back for long periods. If you have a family member or a friend who is pregnant, or who has heart failure, or who struggles with reflux, please send them this video. This information could save them a lot of pain. Now, some of you are probably thinking, "Doctor, I know side sleeping is better, but I just can't stay on my side. I always roll onto my back in the middle of the night. What do I do?" Don't worry, I have a simple, low-tech solution that works surprisingly well. You might laugh when you hear it, but I promise you this is written in international sleep medicine textbooks. Here's what you do. Take an old pair of pajamas, sew a little pocket in the middle of the back, put a tennis ball or a softball about the size of an orange inside the pocket, then wear that pajama top to sleep. At first, you'll fall asleep on your side just fine, but in the middle of the night, when your body instinctively tries to roll onto your back, you'll feel that ball pressing into your spine. It won't hurt, but it will feel uncomfortable enough that you'll roll right back onto your side. And here's the beautiful part, you won't even wake up. You won't remember it in the morning. 8 out of 10 of my patients who tried this successfully break the back sleeping habit. It sounds a little silly, but it really works. All right, we've fixed your sleep position. Now let's talk about another hidden danger that most people completely ignore: the light in your bedroom. You might think it's just a little light. How much could it really matter? As it turns out, a whole lot. There's a research team in the UK led by a professor who tracked the sleep environment and health of nearly 90,000 volunteers using smartwatches. They followed them for several years, and here's what they found. People who slept in rooms with even moderate amounts of light had a nearly 50% higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease compared to people who slept in total darkness. Please note, that wasn't because they slept less. It was the light itself causing the problem. Even very dim light, the little standby light on your TV, the LED on your phone charger. The street light sneaking through the gap in your curtains, that light goes right through your eyelids. It hits your retina and sends a signal straight to your brain's internal clock, your master circadian pacemaker, and that signal says, hey, it's daytime, stop producing melatonin. What is melatonin? It's the master hormone that helps you fall asleep and stay in deep sleep. Without it, your sleep quality plummets, your body stays in a constant low-grade state of alertness, your inflammation levels go up, your blood pressure fluctuates, and your heart never gets the deep rest it desperately needs. My family and my close friends know that I am absolutely strict about light in the bedroom. I don't allow any chargers in the bedroom. My phone stays in another room. They think I'm a little obsessive, but once you see these research studies, you understand this isn't being obsessive, this is protecting your life. The solutions are simple. First, get blackout curtains, not the sheer ones, the kind that truly block all the light from outside. Second, don't keep any electronics with indicator lights in your bedroom, or if you have to, cover them with black electrical tape. Third, if you really need a little light, maybe you're afraid of the dark, or you need to see to get to the bathroom, use a dark red or amber nightlight and put it on the floor, not pointing at your bed. Blue light and white light are the worst. They severely disrupt your melatonin production. Make these small changes and your sleep quality will improve dramatically. Now, let's talk about a question everyone asks: how many hours of sleep do you actually need? Is 8 hours non-negotiable? The answer might surprise you. You've probably heard the rule that everyone needs 8 hours of sleep, but I'm going to tell you something that sounds completely backwards. Sleeping too much may actually be more dangerous than sleeping too little. There's a very respected medical journal called The Lancet. They published a large study that tracked the sleep and death data of hundreds of thousands of people around the world. Here's what they found. People who slept less than 6 hours per night had a 14% higher risk of death from any cause. That's not good, but it's not shocking. But here's the part that surprises people. People who slept more than 9 hours per night had a 34% higher risk of death, more than double the risk of the short sleepers. Now, hearing that might make you nervous. I sleep 9 hours every night. Am I slowly killing myself? Please, let me explain. Sleeping longer is usually not the cause of death. It's a symptom that something else is wrong. What this means is that if a person has chronic inflammation, diabetes, depression, an underactive thyroid, or hidden sleep apnea, their body needs more sleep in an attempt to repair that damage. So it's not that sleeping more makes you sick, it's that being sick makes you sleep more. But this is also an important warning sign. If you find yourself needing 10 or 11 hours of sleep every night and you still wake up feeling exhausted, foggy-headed, and weak, that's not good sleep. That's your body sending you a desperate signal. You should go see your doctor for a full checkup to look for underlying chronic disease for most middle-aged and older adults. The ideal sleep duration is 7 to 8 hours. Some people do fine on 6.5. Some people genuinely need 8. It varies from person to person, but here's a simple way to test for yourself. When you wake up in the morning, can you stay alert and focused until 10 a.m. without drinking tea or coffee? If yes, you're probably getting enough sleep. If you're reaching for that second cup of strong tea just to keep your eyes open, you may need to adjust your schedule. Here's a secret that most people don't know. Regularity matters more than the number of hours you sleep. There's a term called social jet lag. Here's what it looks like. Monday through Friday, you go to bed at midnight and wake up at 7 a.m., but on the weekend you stay up until 3 a.m. and sleep until noon. Sure, you still got 7 or 8 hours of sleep, but your internal body clock is completely confused. Research has found that this kind of irregular schedule, swinging back and forth between weekdays and weekends, can raise your risk of heart attack and stroke by 26%, even if your total sleep hours are perfectly fine. Why is that? Because your body runs on a circadian rhythm. Your body loves predictability. It loves knowing what to expect. It hates riding a roller coaster. When you go to bed at 3 a.m., one night midnight the next, and 10 p.m. the night after, everything gets thrown off. Your hormone release, your body temperature regulation, your immune function, all of it goes haywire, and your cardiovascular system simply cannot handle that kind of chaos. So here's my advice. Try to go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning, even on weekends. Try not to shift by more than 1 hour. Treat this as a form of self respect. Stick with it for 3 months, and I promise you, you will feel like a completely different person. Now, let's talk about something I find absolutely fascinating. Scientists have discovered that human beings actually fall into about 5 major sleep types. Each type has its own characteristics and its own health risks. For a long time, we thought there were only two kinds of people: early birds and night owls. But new genetic research, analyzing the sleep patterns and health data of nearly 30,000 people, found that there are at least 5 distinct sleep chronotypes. Let me walk you through them, see which one sounds like you. Type 1, the perfect early bird. These people wake up early and they have the best health markers of any group. They don't smoke, they don't drink much alcohol, but they have one very clear challenge: they are extremely prone to anxiety. They'll wake up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday and immediately start worrying about a work presentation on Monday. Their brain just won't stop. If this is you, you need to learn how to relax. Don't let your anxiety undo all the benefits of your healthy body. Type 2, the depressed early bird. These people also wake up early, but they feel completely drained, like someone pulled the plug. This type is more common in women, and they have a higher tendency toward depression. If this sounds like you, please pay attention to your mental health. Talk to someone, get help if you need it. There is no shame in that. Type 3, the creative night owl. These people go to bed the latest, but they score the highest on intelligence tests. They have abundant creativity and active minds. The downside is that they tend to have bigger mood swings. They can be more impulsive, and they sometimes make decisions without thinking through the consequences. If you're a creative night owl, you need to learn how to manage your emotions. Don't let your brilliant brain make foolish choices. Type 4, the unhealthy night owl. These people go to bed after midnight, sleep until the afternoon, have poor eating habits, and don't move their bodies much. They have the highest cardiovascular risk of any group. This is the type that worries me the most as a doctor, because the lifestyle is so unhealthy that over time it almost always leads to serious problems. Type 5, the high testosterone night owl. These people have higher testosterone levels, and they tend to believe that sleeping less is a sign of strength. I only need 5 hours of sleep a night and I feel great, but the price they pay is high blood pressure, more hair loss, and a higher risk of prostate problems. My friend, your blood vessels do not agree with your tough guy schedule, so after hearing those 5 types, did you find yourself in one of them? Drop a comment and let me know which type you are. And here's the important part. A lot of this is determined by your genes. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you lack discipline. Once you understand your natural type, you can work with it, adjust your schedule, play to your strengths, and avoid your pitfalls. Now that you understand yourself better, let's get to the most practical part. What can you actually do to improve your sleep and protect your heart? I'm about to share what I call the golden trio. It's so simple you won't believe it, but the results are stunning. If I told you there was a method, no medication, no expensive equipment, just 3 tiny changes that could lower your risk of heart attack and stroke by more than half, would you try it? This is not a supplement commercial. This is a conclusion published in a major peer-reviewed medical journal with a sample size of over 50,000 people. Here's the golden trio. Number 1, sleep just 11 more minutes each night. That's right, 11 minutes. I'm not asking you to suddenly sleep 2 extra hours. That's not realistic for most people. Just go to bed 11 minutes earlier or wake up 11 minutes later. 11 minutes is less time than you spend hitting the snooze button in the morning, but over weeks and months, giving your heart and brain that tiny extra bit of repair time adds up in a very meaningful way. Number 2, walk fast for 4 minutes every day. I'm not asking you to join a gym. I'm not asking you to run a marathon, just 4 minutes of brisk walking. Walk from the far end of the Walmart parking lot to the entrance. Walk from your front door to the mailbox and back, but at a faster pace. Pick up your speed so you're breathing a little harder, but you can still talk in short sentences. That's the sweet spot, 4 minutes. You probably haven't even left your neighborhood yet, but that tiny bit of movement activates your cardiovascular system, improves your circulation, and lowers your inflammation markers. Number 3, eat 50 more grams of vegetables each day. What does 50 grams look like? About 1 medium tomato. or a small handful of broccoli florets or half of a small cucumber. You don't need to go on a strict diet. You don't need to change everything you eat. Just add a little bit more green or red to your plate. The antioxidants, fiber, and potassium in vegetables are some of the best protectors your heart could ask for. Add those three things together: 11 more minutes of sleep, 4 minutes of walking, 50 grams of vegetables, and your risk of a major cardiovascular event drops by more than half. You might be thinking, that sounds way too easy like it can't possibly be real. But here's the truth. Most of the time, health doesn't require dramatic heroic changes. It requires small, consistent habits that you stick with over time. Start tonight, go to bed 11 minutes earlier. Tomorrow, add half a tomato to your breakfast or lunch. Walk a little faster when you go out to get the mail. That's it. Come back to the comments in 2 weeks and tell me how you feel. I'm serious. I want to hear your stories. But there's one more secret that almost nobody knows. The secret to sleeping well doesn't start at night. It starts in the morning. Your brain has a master clock, and that master clock needs a strong light signal to calibrate itself every day. The intensity of sunlight is about 10,000 lux. The light inside your house, even with all the lamps on, is only about 400 lux. If you wake up in the morning and stay in dim indoor light for hours, your brain's clock gets confused. It can't tell whether it's daytime or nighttime. So here's what I recommend. As soon as you wake up in the morning, open your curtains. Step outside onto your porch or balcony, or just stand by a sunny window. Let the sunlight hit your face. 10 to 15 minutes is plenty. Try to do this before 10 a.m. Don't wear sunglasses. Let the natural light enter your eyes. I'm not saying stare at the sun, obviously, just normal light exposure. This sends a clear, powerful signal to your brain. A new day has begun. In about 15 hours, you should start producing melatonin for sleep. By the time evening rolls around, your body will naturally feel sleepy and you will fall into deep sleep much more easily. All right, we've covered a lot of theory. Let me give you a simple, actionable checklist. Print this out and put it on your refrigerator if you want. Step 1. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Don't obsess over exactly 8. 7 is fine. The real test is how you feel in the morning. Step 2. Make side sleeping your default. Left or right is fine, depending on your health conditions. If you keep rolling onto your back, try the tennis ball trick. Step 3. Make your bedroom completely dark. Get blackout curtains. Cover every little LED light. If you need a nightlight, use a dim amber or red one on the floor. Step 4, keep a regular sleep schedule, same bedtime and same wake up time every day, weekends included. Try not to shift by more than 1 hour. Step 5, get morning sunlight 10 to 15 minutes before 10 a.m. No sunglasses. Step 6, avoid screens for 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Turn off your phone, tablet, and TV. Blue light is melatonin's worst enemy. Step 7, stop caffeine by 2 p.m. Coffee, tea, soda, cut it off in the early afternoon. Caffeine has a half-life of 5 to 6 hours. That coffee you drink at 4 p.m. still has half its caffeine in your system at 10 p.m. Step 8, the 20-minute rule. If you're lying in bed and can't fall asleep after 20 minutes, get up. Don't just lie there and suffer. Go to the living room, read a book, listen to some calm music. Go back to bed only when you feel sleepy again. Don't let your bed become a battlefield of anxiety. Step 9. Add 50 grams of vegetables to dinner. A small handful of broccoli, half a cucumber, 1 tomato. Pick one and add it. Stick with it. Step 10. Walk fast for 4 minutes every day. Anywhere, when you're shopping, when you're walking the dog, when you're picking up your grandkids from school, just walk a little faster than usual. Get slightly breathy. 4 minutes. You don't have to do all 10 steps at once. Pick 2 or 3 that seem easiest and start there. Build the habit slowly. Add more over time. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight, but every small step you take is adding points to your health score. We're almost done, but before I let you go, I want to talk about the most important thing. Why getting good sleep isn't just about you. I've been practicing medicine for over 10 years. I've seen too many tragedies that could have been prevented. Let me tell you about a patient of mine. He was 65 years old, recently retired. He had worked hard his whole life. Staying up late was normal for him. After he retired, he couldn't sit still. He would play cards until midnight, then wake up at 5 a.m. to go for a walk. He thought he was tough. He thought he was healthy. Then one night he got crushing chest pain. His family rushed him to the hospital. He had a massive heart attack. The doctors saved his life after a 4-hour emergency procedure, but just barely later. We did a sleep study. He had severe sleep apnea. He had been a chronic back sleeper. He kept a night light on in his bedroom. His schedule was all over the place. Every single risk factor we've talked about today. He held my hand in the hospital bed and said, "Doc, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. I wish someone had told me how important sleep was. Now I don't even have the strength to hold my grandkids. My son and daughter-in-law have to take care of me. I've become a burden. Hearing that broke my heart. Those of us in our 50s, 60s, and beyond, we grew up with a certain mindset: work hard, sleep less, tough it out. But the science has changed, the world has changed, and our thinking needs to change too. Getting good sleep isn't a luxury, it's not being soft, it's a responsibility to your own body, a responsibility to your family, a responsibility to your family, a responsibility to your children and your grandchildren. When you are healthy, your children don't have to worry. They don't have to get that middle of the night phone call from the hospital. When you have energy, you can read bedtime stories to your grandkids. You can teach them how to fish or bake cookies or whatever it is your family loves to do. When you live longer, you get to see your grandchildren grow up. You get to experience those big family Thanksgivings with 4 generations around the table. The people in their 50s and 60s today still have so much on their shoulders. Our kids are busy with their careers. Our grandkids need looking after. Our spouses need our companionship. We cannot afford to fall apart. So starting tonight, take your sleep seriously. Not for some abstract reason, so you can be there for the people you love. 3 months from now, you will notice the difference: more energy, better blood pressure, sharper memory. You will thank yourself for making the change. And one last small bonus. For those of you who stayed with me all the way to the end, people ask me all the time, Doctor, are there any natural foods that can help with sleep? Yes, there is one, and it's very common: pistachios. That's right, the little green nuts you eat during the holidays. Research has found that pistachios are one of the only foods that naturally contain a meaningful amount of melatonin. Eating a small handful, about 10 to 15 pistachios, about an hour before bedtime, can gently help your body transition into sleep mode. Now, please don't expect a miracle. It's not a sleeping pill, and more is not better. This is a gentle, supportive measure. It works best when combined with all the good sleep habits we have talked about today. If you take blood pressure medication or diabetes medication, a small amount of pistachios is generally fine. But if you have kidney disease or if you have a nut allergy, please talk to your own doctor first. And remember, pistachios have a fair number of calories, so don't mindlessly eat the whole bag. 10 to 15 nuts a day is plenty. That's my personal little tip. I hope it helps. All right, that's where I'll wrap it up for today. If this video was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up. That helps more people find it. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you don't miss future videos. And please share this with your family group chat or with any friend you care about. Your one share might help someone avoid a heart attack. It might save a life. In the comments, tell me one thing you learned today and tell me which step you're going to start with tonight. Or if you have any sleep struggles you want to share, write them down. I read as many comments as I can, and we can learn from each other. Here's what I want you to remember. Good sleep doesn't require a miracle. It doesn't require expensive supplements or fancy gadgets. What it requires is a few small changes and a little bit of consistency. 11 more minutes of sleep, 4 minutes of fast walking, 50 grams of vegetables, side sleeping, blackout curtains, a regular schedule, morning sunlight, no screens before bed, the 20-minute rule, and a small handful of pistachios if you like. That's it. That's the plan. 2 weeks from now, you'll start to notice you'll wake up feeling refreshed. You won't be fighting sleepiness in the afternoon. Your blood pressure will be steadier. Your mood will be brighter. And when that happens, come back to the comments and tell me your story. I'll be waiting to hear your good news. Remember, your health is a lifelong journey, but change can start tonight. And as always, if you're dealing with any health concerns, please schedule a visit with your primary care doctor. I'm here to help you understand the science, not replace professional medical advice. Sweet dreams. Everyone, I'll see you in the next video.